Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is William Fleming, and I have been tasked with introducing a new mechanic into this tile based game project that we're working on here. My mechanic I have dubbed Slippery Ice Tiles, and this is sort of inspired by sliding puzzles that you'll see in all sorts of other games. So let me jump in here and show you what I've got. In the middle of the map here, there are these light blue tiles and they've got some white streaks on them, so that's just kind of meant to look like ice. And if the player steps onto those, they will slide until they either hit an obstacle, such as the wall at the far end, or until they're back on a floor tile here. So, as it stands at the moment, there's no way to stop the player to line up with that exit block, the wind tile that you see in the sort of top right. So what we can do is go down, move the block into the ice, push that across, and then reach that tile. Right. So you notice as you slide across the ice, the player spins, and there is a sound effect there that plays each time. For the most part, this works as intended. The one issue that I've noticed, kind of an edge case, is that when the player stops, you notice in this case they're facing sort of down to the left, but the interactive angle is still in the direction of travel. So even though I'm not facing that block, I can still push that block. I don't know how big of an issue that will be. It doesn't change anything about movement, and I have a feeling that most players are inclined to sort of face whatever they are interacting with anyway. But just something to keep in mind. I may work on that a little bit more and try to make sure that doesn't happen. The other thing, and actually I sort of just accidentally did it here, is when using these tiles, you have to be a little more careful to design levels where you're not going to soft lock the player from reaching the exit. So here the two blocks have been pushed into positions where you can't really use them to stop yourself. If you try to push this one, it's either going to go back onto this floor tile here, or it's going to slide all the way across and through a pit in the back. And same with this block over here. It just goes onto that floor tile, and now there's no way other than to push it off the edge. That can be solved by resetting to the level, but it's just better to sort of design so that you don't get into those situations. So let me jump over here to the editor to show how I arranged all this. So I can get the right view up here. So here in Unreal, I have my blueprint. This is all done in a single blueprint, this slippery ice tile. If we go to the viewport, you can see it is just a pane with that light blue and white color, and I actually created a custom material for this, so white and light blue. I created this little alpha mask just in Google Drawings, and played around with reflectivity, the roughness, a little bit to make it look a little more shiny. If we jump back over to the event graph here, when you enter the tile, it calls everything that the parent tiles call. And the first thing it does then is check if the entity that's coming in, which I have a habit of saving as a variable just so we can reference it easily without wires running everywhere, checks if that entity is either the player or an interactable box. If it is the player, first thing you do is get the sound of that player slipping on the ice, and then it continues to move the player in the same direction while spinning. So it calls this spin on ice function that I've created here, and I'll look at that right now. Here you're just finding the rotation of the player, adding 90 degrees to the yaw, and setting that as their new rotation. And again, that's why the interactive direction still maintains the same direction of travel. There may be a better way to do that, and I will try to look into that as we keep working on this. But anyway, once you finish with the spin, you move to the tile using some of the same features that we see in other blueprints being used in the project. So this get neighbor just pulls the next tile in the direction that the player was traveling and double checks that it can be entered and all of that. If the entity that enters is a box, same thing, plays the sound checks where it was coming from, what tile it's heading to, make sure the tile is usable and what direction that is, and then continues to move the box in the same direction as that tile. So that should pretty much cover everything that I've done so far. Again, a few spots that I may kind of work on a little bit more and see if I can make them exactly what I was thinking of in the first place. But otherwise, I hope this is clear enough, and I look forward to people enjoying this mechanic and implementing it into their projects. Cheers.